Hey, so today I have filmed our everyday realistic morning routine. So we start the day about 7:30ish a.m. This is usually the time Ivy would normally wake up, and I start by giving her a feed. And she normally feeds from both sides, and this usually takes around 10 to 15 minutes. But today Ari decided he wanted to wake up while I was giving Ivy her feed. So I went to quickly go get him, and he usually just plays around us while I finish off giving Ivy her feed. And once Ivy's finished feeding, it is time for all of us to start getting ready. So I start off by getting Ari changed first, because I just find it easier to get myself and Ari ready first before I get Ivy ready, because she will happily play on the floor. I just give her some toys and she's just happy out. And 80% of the time Ari is really good for me in the mornings, and he knows our routine and he will happily get changed. But he is becoming very independent and wants to do everything himself. He actually dragged the stool from the other side of the room to the sink, but surprisingly he wanted me to brush his teeth for him, so I did. But he is a very different child in the mornings compared to the evening time. The evening time I find he is very hyper, which makes changing his clothes and brushing his teeth way more challenging. But he does have his moments in the morning, and as you can see, he's biting on the toothbrush as I'm trying to brush his teeth. I also like to just wipe down Ari's face. He had bedhead this morning, so I had to try and flatten that down. Once Ari's done, it's time for me to get dressed and ready for the day. I would love to be able to shower in the mornings, but this just wouldn't be possible with the two of them. So I shower in the evenings just before their bedtime. I literally just take my hair out and retie it, because if you're a curly hair girl like me, then you'll know that you can't actually comb it unless it's hair wash day. And yes, I like to brush my teeth first thing in the morning. I know this can be a touchy subject for some. And I also like to just give my face a quick splash of water, and then I will follow up by just using some face cream. And while I'm doing this, Ivy and Ari are just playing around me. I was just telling Ari to be careful because he was just about to drop the camera. I'm planning on going to the Mummies and Buggies walk this morning, so I'm using this L'Oreal tinted serum if it focuses, and this just helps smooth out my skin tone and makes me look somewhat put together. And it's super comfortable to wear because I'm all about the comfort life, and this is just my super quick way of getting ready in the mornings. And it literally takes me about 10 minutes to get ready. But once I finish getting ready, it is time to get Ivy dressed, and it's super cold today, so I am going to be layering Ivy up with tights and leggings because Ivy just kicks off her socks whenever I put them on her. And I'm also leaving her long sleeve vest on underneath her jumper. This will keep her nice and warm. And in the background you can see Ari playing in the hallway. He is opening and closing my wardrobe door. But we are just finishing off by brushing Ivy's hair. And then we all head downstairs, and Ari is insistent of me carrying him down the stairs with Ivy, so I do that. But once we're downstairs, I put Ivy on the floor and I just give her some toys. I open the curtains, and while Ari and Ivy are playing on the floor, I flick on the kettle and I turn on the radio. And I'm just realizing the time is incorrect compared to what it says on my watch. It is an hour ahead. But then I also like to put on the telly, and I put on Good Morning Britain. But I know Ari would prefer to watch Paw Patrol or Peppa Pig, but I like to start off the day by just catching up on what's going on in the world. But I am starting breakfast now, and Ari is getting some cereal, and I am making some porridge for Ivy. And I just warm it up in the microwave because it's super quick and easy. And while that's warming up, I fill Ari's water bottle up, and I just put his cereal down onto the table, and he just comes and eats himself, as you can see in the top corner. And once Ivy's porridge is warmed up, I pop in one of these frozen fruit purees, which I pre-prepped. If you want to know how I prep these, then I have a reel on my Instagram. I'll leave the handle on the screen. And then I quickly just make myself a cup of coffee, and I'm just using instant coffee this morning because I like my coffee to be really nice and hot, and we do have a lovely coffee machine, but I find it's just not hot enough for me, and most of the time I forget that I've even got a coffee, and it usually goes cold and down the drain. But while Ivy's porridge is cooling down, I prep Ari's snack box, which he takes to creche with him. Ari goes to creche for 3 hours, and he gets a snack time at 10:30, and they advise us to just send him a healthy snack. So I'm packing him some strawberries and blueberries, which he only recently started eating. And usually I just pack him some sort of cheese snack. Today he's getting a Dippet, a croissant, a yogurt, and some raisins. And by the time I have all this done, Ivy's porridge has cooled down, so I go into the living room and just do a quick tidy. This morning I just decided to do breakfast in the living room. We kind of change it up every day, and we sometimes eat at the dining table and sometimes just in the living room, even though we are watching Good Morning Britain instead of what Ari wants to watch, because I try not to give him any cartoons until he comes back from creche. And usually he's happy watching it and he doesn't moan, so It's all win-win situation for me. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, 80% of the time I will spoon feed Ivy in the mornings just because it speeds up the process. And to be honest, this is the only kind of thing that she allows me to feed her because she loves her finger foods and prefers to eat herself. And it helps that she loves her porridge in the mornings, and it also helps her bowels. Once we're done with breakfast, I put Ari's water bottle into his bag and put the bag into the car, and then I start the car and warm it up because there's no better feeling than getting into a nice toasty car on a cold morning. And then I head back inside and I had 5 minutes to chill, so I decided to unload the dishwasher just to get a head start on the list of chores that I had for that day. And there is a saying that you'll never get done what you get done before 9 a.m. So I do try and get as much as I can done before I leave for the school run. And just before we leave, I give Ivy a quick feed just to make sure she's topped up, because I'm always in the hope that she will sleep while I'm on our walk, but there is no chance. As soon as I take her out the car, she is wide awake and looking around and just wants to be nosy. So yeah, I just live in the hope that she might just sleep on our walk, because once we've done the mummies and buggies walk, we usually go for a coffee, and by this time Ivy starts to get a bit cranky because she is just tired. But then she does go to sleep in the car when I'm on my way back to collect Ari from creche, so it actually works out quite perfectly. But it's now time for us to all head into the car, so we are just putting on our shoes and coat. This can be sometimes quite challenging. Some days Ari just wants to put on his coat and get going, but today he was not playing ball. I did actually try and record him playing up, but the window light made the footage really dark, so I wasn't able to use it in this video. It can take us about 5 minutes to get his coat on sometimes, but then on the weekends he asked to go to school. You just can't win. But I eventually get his coat on, but it was cold today, so I decided I was going to send Ari in with a hat, and then it was time to get Ivy into her car seat. But as I was doing this, I realized she had done a poo. So I changed her nappy off camera. Take 2 with Ivy, and I'm also putting her into a warm coat today because, like I mentioned at the start of the video, it is a really cold morning, so I wanted to make sure she was wrapped up warm. And I do keep Ivy in the car seat and just lift the car seat onto the buggy in hope that she might just stay asleep. Once Ivy's in her car seat, Ari likes to wait with the door open. Even I was wearing a coat today, it was that cold. Usually I would say I'd warm up on the walk, but I am so glad I took the coat. I first get Ivy into the car, and I am so glad I started the car and got it heated up because it was well needed today. It was definitely nice and toasty, and once Ivy is strapped in, I then put Ari in, and that is our morning routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and would like to see future videos, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will all see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.